covering news where you live. This is 5 News at
Video showing the moment severe storms moved through the area last night. More video and reaction from homeowners cleaning up after the Easter Sunday storms. And when a tornado tore through Rogers 1 year ago, it punched through stained glass and flooded a sanctuary, but it couldn't shake this church's spirit. Coming up, a local congregation's journey of hope and healing. But first, we start with the death of Pope Francis. The Catholic Church has begun a 9-day period of mourning. The Vatican announced the 88-year-old pontiff died this morning, saying he taught us to live the values of the gospel with fidelity, courage, and universal love. Pope Francis' death came less than 24 hours after he appeared in St. Peter's Square for the Easter holiday. CBS's Jared Hill has more.
Bells tolled throughout St. Peter's Square in Vatican City as mourners gathered to remember Pope Francis.
It's a very sad day for the Roman Catholic faith.
It's a stark contrast to scenes of joy on Easter Sunday.
Cari fratelli.
The 88-year-old pontiff delivered a message to the faithful, then greeted cheering crowds from the Pope-mobile for what would be the final time.
We can't believe it's happened while we're here. You know, he was a lovely pope. We're very sad about it.
Last month, Pope Francis was released from the hospital after a 5-week stay for life-threatening double pneumonia. In his Easter address read by an aide, the Pope called for an end to violence in a number of major conflicts and urged compassion for marginalized people and migrants.
It was somehow just symbolically and spiritually apt that a pope who was so beholden to being there for the forgotten people of the world, at the very end, that's how he went out as well.
Catholic churches around the world, including St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York, are now holding daily prayer services in honor of Pope Francis. He earned the name the People's Pope during his 12 years leading the church.
He was trying to allow people to feel included more, to give hope and more compassion. He just didn't tolerate anyone who felt that they were superior to anyone else or that they were better than.
This evening, Vatican officials will preside over a solemn ritual, placing the Pope's body in a coffin, which will eventually be placed at St. Peter's Basilica. Pope Francis will lie in state there for several days before his funeral. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
Vatican officials say Pope Francis's body could be moved to St. Peter's Basilica as early as Wednesday. Then in 15 to 20 days, cardinals from all around the world will descend on Rome to elect a new pope.
All right, this morning we started off with a little bit of cloud coverage across northwest Arkansas. It looked to be at least the start of a gloomy day, but as we talked about earlier, that cloud coverage burning off by the time we get to the afternoon, and now everybody is seeing sunshine out there, shaping up to be a really nice day today. Daytime highs reaching up into those 70s. Here's a look at what we're tracking over the next couple of days. Warmer for tomorrow, back up into those 80s. By the time we get to the end of the week, though, that's when those rain chances increasing once again Wednesday, Thursday, Friday into the weekend. More than likely, we have those rain chances back into the forecast. Northwest Arkansas, the rest of the day today, daytime highs into those upper 70s. By the time we get late this afternoon, this evening looks to be pretty nice if you want to get outside across the river valley. We'll reach up into those upper 80s today, or upper 70s today, 80s by tomorrow. Plenty of sunshine the rest of the day. Enjoy this evening. We'll talk about those rain chances for the end of the week coming up in just a bit.
All right, Stephen, thanks. Cleanup is underway today from the storms that blew through our area over the weekend. This is drone footage out of Fayetteville using our Sky 5 camera. This is the area of North Chapel Hill Drive. Despite the sudden impact, people came together to help one another by placing tarps over damaged roofs, contacting insurance providers, and beginning repairs. People in the area say the sense of community proves that the heart of this region is as strong as ever. 5 News reporter Jacob Luthi takes us into the neighborhood where helping hands made all the difference.
Camera footage here from Ryan Crowder's home shows the moments a strong storm swept through his Fayetteville neighborhood on Easter Sunday.
Our fence was down, our roof was off.
Ripped the fence right off, a foot into the ground, ripped it right off, ripped part of our roof off, ripped all the shingles off, and blew all the glass out of our patio area.
Residents say the storm was gone as fast as it came, destroying roofs and even moving cars. Debris-lined streets and residents on top of houses patching damage were the scenes in the Humont neighborhood.
Our neighbor's roof was caved in. Our trampoline is in their front yard.
Came home and everyone was surrounding our house.
and like people were like calling us and like making sure we were okay.
Residents say this all occurred just before 3 p.m. Sunday. Fayetteville Emergency Manager Shane Wood says he arrived at the scene after hearing of what happened.
No injuries, pretty significant damage to a few homes. The fire department did do some shoring on one roof that was pretty severely damaged, just so it wouldn't get any worse overnight.
In total, Wood says over 20 homes had either minor or major damage. By the time he arrived, streets had already been cleared as neighbors worked to help each other.
Our neighborhood group chat's going off saying if anyone needs help with anything. So, that is, when people have damage and stuff like this, people always come together. So that's really nice to see for sure.
In Fayetteville, covering news where you live, Jacob Luthi, 5 News.
Debris, power lines down everywhere. Multiple homes around me are down. Lots and lots of trees. I ended up having maybe 3 tree limbs broke in my yard.
4 tornadoes are confirmed to have touched down in Oklahoma last night, with Ada being one of the towns in the epicenter. 1 person was hurt and at least 30 people have been displaced from the storm. Down the road in Hughes County, the tornadoes turned deadly, killing 1 person. Emergency management confirmed the tornado was on the ground for 2 miles and widespread damage was reported across the region as the storm tore through multiple other communities. Amid crashing thunder and the sounds of tornado sirens, residents of affected areas during this weekend's storms had to shelter in place. This video is from Rob Dromgoole, captures the storm as he sheltered in Durant, Oklahoma. Also in Oklahoma, flash flooding claimed 2 lives this weekend. Police in Moore say the high water stranded 2 cars Saturday night and 1 was swept away under a bridge. Rescue teams were able to save some, but a woman and a 12-year-old boy were found dead. Power companies across the state have been working through the power outages after strong winds knocked down power line poles. Southside Church of Christ in Rogers is still recovering nearly a year after a tornado tore through their building. Despite the damage, they used the Bible as a guide to put others first. 5 News reporter Jose Carranza shares their story as they gathered this Easter Sunday.
On May 26, 2024, a tornado hit Rogers, damaging dozens of homes in Southside Church of Christ. The sanctuary was flooded, the stained glass shattered, and repairs are still ongoing today.
Sure enough, the main peak of our building with the stained glass, it had been so rocked by the building, it was as if the storm itself had just punched through the stained glass, which then shattered the projector screen, which then punctured the baptistry, which flooded the auditorium.
But despite losing part of their roof, church members didn't focus on the damage. Their first priority was becoming a hub for disaster relief, even while their own homes were hit.
Once it was light, we kind of said, okay, we need to go check on the church and kind of see, start to gather and then see which of our people are going to need some help. And so we came here in the morning and then starting to just check on the neighbors of the church, kind of this as being our kind of core place, and then just kind of building out from there.
Relief efforts continued for weeks. Church members spent their days clearing trees, checking on neighbors, and distributing supplies, thanks in part to donations from across the country.
Every morning, the week after the tornado, our members showed up, helped unload the truck, distribute the supplies, organize them, and then we had people who stayed all day, every day, helping to get supplies to the community.
Now, with Easter Sunday here, the church returns to the building, still under repair, to celebrate what they believe is the heart of their faith.
Today is Easter Sunday at Southside. Easter is a special day for Christians all throughout the world and has been for a long time. We also realize that the whole world is focused on the resurrection today. Isn't this the crux of what we believe in?
And for many, the storm only strengthened their community and their faith, carrying them through any storm.
In the Bible, it talks about, to consider the lilies of the field. They toil not, neither do they spin, but God takes care of them. And sometimes we just have to be those lilies and just say, if it comes, it comes. Look, we've lived through it before, and so we can live through it again.
Even if there's a tornado on the horizon, though I would pray that God would keep the tornadoes out of Rogers for the foreseeable future, certainly. But if another one comes, I have full confidence that this church will step up just like we did last time.
In Rogers, covering the news where you live, Jose Carranza, 5 News.
Well, we continue to remember a tragic chapter in American history, 30 years since the Oklahoma City bombing. The city honored the 168 lives lost, including 5 victims from our community, during an emotional weekend ceremony. On April 19, 1995, the bombing of the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building claimed 168 lives, marking the deadliest act of domestic terrorism in U.S. history. This weekend, families, leaders, and national figures filled First Church in Oklahoma City to honor the lives lost. Among them, the Bowers family, who lost a loved one in the attack, attended once again. They say this year's memorial was particularly meaningful.
Carol Bowers, who was Social Security Administration. You say, hey, let's do something, she gone, we're going. Spiritual lady, very giving, very kind. These are my daughters, these are her granddaughters, so, which she never got to meet them, but she loved them, and I think she watches over them.
For families like the Bowers, it's about keeping memories alive and ensuring the next generation shares these stories so the world never forgets. And as you see right here on your screen, Mark Bolte, Rebecca Needham, Teresa Alexander, Renata Woodbridge, and Wanda Watkins all have ties to our area. Those 5, along with the other 163 victims, were honored this weekend.